to tell you about this project that it started a few time ago, but we were fighting in order to make it possible until now. As you can see, it's been so successful in this Congress, as you can see. So please do not tell me anything about the time, because I'm going to really try to explain all my knowledge about this project. What we thought about this upgrading biogas project, how we have posted, what's the current status, what kind of aid we received, and what are our conclusions about all this learning since we started it in 2019. So talking about the engines, I'm one of them, the consortium of this. We do the wastewater treatment of many counties, 36 counties of the Vallès Oriental. This is the eastern part of Barcelona. So talking about, sorry, the west part. So not the coast of Barcelona, but the mountain, the inside part of Barcelona. So talking about this Vallès Oriental, my colleague also talked about this, that we are in charge of collecting the solid waste and wastewater of these counties. And in both administrations, we take care of all the waste of more than 400,000 inhabitants. So what we do here is that as a consortium, and also from Bèsos Tordera and Vallès Oriental, these two administrations, we collect all the solid residues, solid waste, and the wastewater. And our model also take care of the energy, and we also could generate electricity. And both facilities has anaerobic diastates, as the previous speech was talking about. And here we produce biogas. We have been doing this since a long time ago from both facilities and the diastate. In this case, we take care of it. We take advantage of that, because we receive all the waste from the agro-industrial sector, and we do the compost from one side, and the other side we use it for agriculture. We have two cogeneration engines in both facilities, and we produce energy, and we inject to the electricity grid, and the heat generated, we use it to make continue this anaerobic digestion, since we see that this is one of the handicaps that we are having compared to all other energy sources. Also, we have Torx that is giving us services. With that, of course, we have problems with the tops, with the peaks and the hills of this generation. What another coincidence is that we are in the same parcel. As you can see in the yellow line, you can see the perimeter of the wastewater treatment plant, and the red line, there is the solid waste treatment plant. Also, within this space, as Netja was telling us, it's not that we have pipelines close to us, but these pipelines are crossing our land. So actually, we have 4 bars pipelines. Therefore, we can think that we could substitute these torques that both facilities have for any direct injection of this surplus biogas to the grid. So we could turn this into biomethane. This made us think that only for torque, these are the first numbers. This is logical, right? We don't want to burn the surplus. It is a pity to have the torques on. So we would prefer to use it in other ways of functioning. So once we were doing numbers, we can see different kind of scenarios. For example, in case the engines has to stop because of the cleaning processes, or because of the market, or the demand changes. And we are talking about 2018, remember that. So if we think about future scenarios, thinking about the functioning, we were dimensioning this plant during this process. So talking about this, what's the baseline of this project? The surplus biogas. So the proportions coming from the wastewater treatment plant and the solid waste, all of them produce 4 million of cubic nanometers per year, and we inject also much less megawatts compared to the consortium, for example, to the other facilities. So this proportion is 1 to 3, right? So since we started to work as a team, we thought about how can we do it. We were 2018. So the first thing we saw is that this idea is a happy idea, or is it going to be the reality? So we created an agreement in order to make it profitable. So based on that, we did a recognition of all the existing technologies, PCA, scrubber, and membranes. And at the end of these conclusions, we saw that the best idea, the best option for this regularity of flexibility, we thought that for this kind of project of ampliation, for the treatment and the solid waste and the wastewater, you can see it in the posters. I invite you to take a look at. We chose the membranes technology since we thought, okay, since we have this, let's think about the cost. They told us 2 million euros, so we want to find funding because we are public companies. So we have to go away from the risks, right? So we needed some funding, and as the same as the PTSD, we went to PEDRO so we can get some funding for the decarbonization. And it was good because in 2021, in June, we received this help, and having such a huge subsidy, we signed an agreement between both organizations, and we started the project at that point. So after after June 2022, we started with the building project and implementation and a year of operating of this plant. Faxa Transparenta was the one who won this call. And remembering that 2018, there was a stable market, but in June 2022, the market has changed a lot since you know what happened in 2020. What it was given, what we were building, this is something that is not already functioning, but we hope that in June 2023 is going to start working, because this is the timeline, the time they gave us. This is a plant based on 500 cubic nanometers per hour of biogas. And this is a very compact plant. I'm going to show you some pictures. This is around 600 square meters of land, and it was given with an initial investment of 2,775,000 euros. The first initial numbers was telling us that what's the profit for both partners that we were taking part of. The return period was going to be, the turnover was going to be in a couple of years. So it is logic that it was going to happen at some point. So what was happening? Well, then, as Francisco Repollo was telling us, there was a storm in the market. What's this storm? And also there was a legislation advance talking about biomethane, and in the biogas roadmap also they appeared, and we reviewed all the regulations, and the electrical bill also has raised a lot, and it also has an impact in our facilities and all the other energy facilities. And the OMIE is over 156 megabyte, and the prices, the gas prices, is around 150 euros per megabyte. So when we started this project, the initial data was the 50 euros the price of biomethane. we had the margin of 6 euros, right? That was our profit. But nowadays, we have calculated that to what extent we're going to press the button of injecting or not, because we calculate that if the pool price is 150 euros per megabyte, and the biomethane has to be 160 euros per megabyte, because otherwise I'm going to be in the balance point, because I'm not going to receive any profit, or I'm not going to have any loss neither. Remember that both facilities has cogeneration engines, so we have to work both. We have to make them work together, because one is complementing the other one. So because it's not a real project for now, you can see here both facilities, the wastewater plant and the solid waste plant. You can see there the 600 square meters of the grading plant with the same structure as we were seeing, but with membranes. A gas meter that is laminating, and the membranes model and treatment with the scrubbing and charcoal, active charcoal, sorry, and thermal energy recovering, for the cooling of biogas and the compression of the biogas. And this is important because we actually need the heat within the anaerobic plant in both treatment plants. Therefore, we need this energy for our own facility. Therefore, these cogeneration engines need around quite big percentage of energy, but it just recovered around 4% of the energy. Therefore, it only gives us 11% of the energy to continue with the digestion. Therefore, we have to continue with this cogeneration. So we take advantage of the heating, the surplus heating. Yes. So the surplus, sorry. So talking about these GHG emissions, if we want to substitute the primary resources, for example, the fuel, the fossil fuels, we want to substitute it in order to avoid the GHG emissions. But considering that there is 4,300 of the carbon footprint. What are the conclusions? We are repeating what our colleague was saying. We have to establish a framework. And also we have to talk about the guarantees of the origin. And the global goal has bringing us to a biomethanation from renewable gas and injected to the grid. We were talking about the terabytes previously, and also to place value and the energy market, remembering that the biomethane has a real potential regarding all the renewable energy, since remembering the monetization of this. Therefore, if we remember what are the numbers of this biomethanation and the megabytes, we can consider, we have to remember that maybe we will need in the future some reinvestment. So if you have any questions, please, you can ask me any questions.